Welcome to Mid-State Money Talk. My name is Cynthia DeFazio, joined today by Al Dietrich and Kevin Dietrich of First Choice Financial Services Incorporated. And to our viewers at home, we have a great show for you today. We're going to talk about paychecks and playchecks. This is going to be a very interesting show, talking about how you can have fun in your retirement and how to plan for the income that needs to come in. Al, how are you today?
I'm good, thank you.
It's great to see you. Kevin, how are you?
I'm fantastic.
Good to see both of you. I'm so excited about today's show. To our viewers at home, you've probably heard the phrase before, paychecks and playchecks. Well, I wanted to tell you a little bit about where this was coined from. This is actually from Tom Henya, who is an economist, author, and retirement income expert. We're going to talk about what this phrase means on today's show and how it can help you have a very healthy and happy retirement lifestyle. Al, I want to ask the first question, please. The concept of playchecks and paychecks. It's simple, but it's powerful. Can you break it down and explain it for the viewers at home, please?
Well, I'll do my best.
Okay.
Tom is a fantastic individual. He has spent most of his life simplifying these type of items for you at home to be able to grasp and apply it to your own life, okay? So paychecks, we all know what a paycheck is. Most of us get one every week or every 2 weeks, our entire life. And now all of a sudden, we're going to retire. And now we have to look at that a little differently. And in that, you know, our Social Security will come once a month. It doesn't come every week or every 2 weeks. But that's where our basis of income normally comes from. And when we do that, we have to determine what our needs are. And that comes from having a Q&A with someone like us, who can sit down and say, okay, what are your needs? Where are your debts? You know, where's the money going to come from for the rest of your life to be able to take care of these needs? We need fuel oil. We need the telephone. We can't be without the telephone.
Very true.
The food and all of those kind of things.
Absolutely.
And so we establish that first. And then with the money that's left, we at First Choice are very, very concerned when people come in and they're looking to retire, in that they really haven't thought past the date of retirement. So now we're thinking, remember when you first got married? Kevin says it all the time.
Yes.
When you first got married, you know, you had all these plans.
Yeah.
And now retirement is like doing it all over again.
Yes.
And so we talk to people and say, what are you going to do? What are your plans? And many of them don't have them. So let's spend a few minutes on that, you know.
Yes.
And I'll just say that, where does that money come from?
Yes.
Okay, well, that comes from your planning, and you've adequately put some funds aside and put them in different investments. And those investments are to be used appropriately based upon what's going on in that year of your life. You know, what's the market doing? What isn't it doing? And so that's the money that we call playchecks.
Okay. All right. Perfect.
Sure.
Well, Kevin, I want to ask you, obviously, it's critical to emphasize the difference between paychecks and playchecks. Can we just dive into those two types of income?
Yeah, it's very simple. The paychecks is your guaranteed, reliable, essential income.
Okay.
So that usually is your Social Security, if you have a pension, if you have an annuity that gives you a guaranteed source of income. So that's your paychecks. And then we'll get into the playchecks, I'm sure, here shortly.
Okay, that sounds good. I love that. So basically making sure that your basic needs are covered, kind of the backbone of your retirement income, if you will, would be the paychecks.
That's
okay.
right.
And then you can be more flexible when you have the playchecks, if you will.
Is that those wants, that dreams that my dad was talking about here, those things that you want to do, vacations, buying a new car, because that's not part of that guarantee, that's not part of that budget, you know, to buy a new car or a boat, you know, a camper, whatever you want to do. That's where the paychecks come into play. And those are more flexible. They come from your investments a lot of times.
Okay. Excellent. Al, let me ask you, when people are trying to figure out what their paychecks need to look like, what should they be considering when people are coming in?
Yeah, first you want to take a look at your needs.
Okay.
You know, and those needs are going to be pretty consistent. Not that they can't change. Sometimes people come to us and they still have a mortgage that hasn't been paid off. Well, as the guys talked earlier, you're going to see that the earlier you get to us, the better that day that you retired, the better off you're going to be.
Okay.
You know, one thing that comes through to us, and I mean almost everybody that comes and talks to us, they say, you know, I wish I would have came 10 years earlier. I wish I would have sat down with you guys earlier. There are so many things that could have been different for you at home. There's so many things that we can help you with to put you in a much better place when you actually retire and the first 5 years after that.
Amen.
So, you know, what we want to do is we want to determine what that need is. Well, since it's a permanent situation, we want to use the type of income that is guaranteed.
Okay.
The best place to take care of permanent expenses is from guaranteed income.
Absolutely.
Okay?
Secure.
So we don't have to be concerned about what's going on out there in the market, or, you know, downtown, or the water bill just went up, or whatever it might. We're well taken care of in that area.
Okay. Perfect.
Okay.
And I know that's so important, is making sure that those needs are covered first and foremost, your basic, most important needs. So you're talking about utilities, healthcare, food, and then your dreams and your desires in retirement, if you will.
Exactly.
So Kevin, you have a story to share actually before our first commercial break about a couple that you were helping with the process, just determining like their paychecks and their playchecks. Can we talk a little bit about them?
Yeah, that's it's actually a regular thing. We have couples come all the time.
Okay.
That we sit down with them, we do a financial review, we figure out what their basic needs are, their essential needs. As you mentioned, their utilities, their food, their clothing,
Yes.
the basic needs, and then we make sure that we have enough guaranteed source of income to meet those basic needs. And then we'll look at, okay, let's look at dreaming a little bit. What do you want to do?
Yeah.
And as I mentioned before, a lot of folks that just look at me almost dumbfounded, like, I never thought about that.
Yes.
They just want to get to this point, right? They don't really think about beyond. What do I actually do once I have every day is a Saturday? You know, what do I actually do? So we start talking about that. We start dreaming, and they just lighten up.
Yes.
You know, and they just like start talking to each other. Remember we wanted to do this. Remember we wanted to do that. Remember when we went to here? I love that place. We should go back to there. And they just start. They're giddy by the time they leave our office. And so I don't really have one particular client in mind, but just there's so many
multiple,
examples that they come in and they have some preconceived notions on what this appointment is going to be like. And when the time they leave, they're giddy, they're happy. They have a hopefulness about them that they didn't have when they come in, because they were some reserved.
Sure.
They didn't know what to expect. They don't know what they don't know.
Exactly.
And so we have to open their minds, help them to start dreaming a little bit, make sure, hey, here's your basic needs. And your Social Security and maybe your pension, that covers that. Now, here's some other discretionary money that you have that, what are you going to do with that?
Yeah.
Like, well, I can figure out what to do. And if I ask the lady, the wife, she knows she has some ideas. If I ask the man, he has some other ideas. And a lot of times they're not the same ideas.
I'm sure. That's why I was laughing when you started that. I'm like, okay, I know where this is going to go.
Yeah.
Well, this is the perfect time for us to take our first commercial break. Would you gentlemen agree?
Yes.
All right. Thank you. To our viewers at home, there's a number for you to call on your screen. That number is 888-959-2743. If you're sitting in the viewing audience today and you're asking yourself, do I know how to determine how much I actually need for my paycheck in retirement versus my playcheck? And if the answer is no, you're unsure, this is the perfect time for you to call in to have that customized retirement plan completely drawn up for you. That number is 888-959-2743. There's no obligation, completely complimentary. You deserve to have the retirement of your dreams. You deserve to have the paychecks and the playchecks, and figuring out where all of those sources are going to come from. If you don't have a pen handy, we've made it even simpler. You can grab your smartphone, click on that QR code at the bottom corner of your screen. That'll take you right to the landing page for First Choice Financial Services Incorporated, and you can schedule your time accordingly. Remember, this is your retirement. You want to have your dreams, your goals, and your hopes met. You need to have the customized retirement plan. We'll be right back after this very short commercial break.
Choice Financial Services. We're based out of Camp Hill, Pennsylvania. So if you're familiar with Harrisburg, there's a river that splits the mid-state in half. And on the right side is the Harrisburg City, and on the left side is what we call the West Shore. We're based in Camp Hill, Pennsylvania, which is just across the river from Harrisburg.
Everybody that works in our firm just has a heart for other people. My 2 sons are partners in the corporation. Their wives are very active in the corporation. The rest of the people in the corporation are, all but 2, are family.
I wouldn't want a practice that's not family-based or faith-based. If you're a believer, you're a Christian, then you have to live that. It's your life. It's who you are. It's your identity. My identity is in Christ and Christ alone, and I'm not going to waver from that. And why not have that spill over into my business, my practice? It's all over our walls, all over our TV screens, and they can see our heart, and they know, hey, we take care of them, and we love them as individuals, and we care for them and their soul.
When we've sat down with somebody and we've taken time to get to know them and put something into place that's going to really meet their needs, to see the look of relief or the posture change when they walk out of the office feeling confident and a little less worried of the years to come.
Welcome back to Mid-State Money Talk. My name is Cynthia DeFazio, joined today by Al Dietrich and Kevin Dietrich of First Choice Financial Services Incorporated. And we're talking all about paychecks and playchecks in retirement. You need both to have a wonderful, beautiful retirement. Kevin, I want to talk to you a little bit about this because obviously you and your family see the people that are coming in for the very first time and you're helping to assess their needs. I know that we've talked about the difference between paychecks and playchecks, but people are probably wondering, what would typically be their main source of guaranteed income in retirement? What do you see overall?
Yeah, so let's dig into this a little bit deeper. The main source, the foundation of a lot of folks' retirement is Social Security.
Okay.
But typically that provides maybe 30 to 40% of their living expenses or their needs that they have, the essentials that the paycheck would cover. And so we have to add some other type of income. And so in, of course, mid-state, we have a lot of folks that are retired teachers or retire from the state. So we still have a lot of pensions. Now that's obviously going away from, and it's going into more of a 401k situation. But we add a pension income, which is a guaranteed source of income as well. If you don't happen to have a pension, if you have a 401k, we can turn some of that 401k money into a pension. And so we utilize an annuity for that.
Oh, okay.
That's the best way to do that is a fixed annuity, which a single premium immediate annuity, which will give you that guaranteed source of income, like a pension. So then you could create a pension. You have your Social Security, which typically will cover your essentials, your paycheck.
Okay, and I want to ask you a question because is there a way for you to formulate the rule of thumb, if you will, how much someone actually needs to have their basic needs covered financially? How do you go about this? Is there a formula that you follow?
There's not necessarily a formula that we follow. We just follow our 5-step process. And part of that is that financial review, that first step is a very important first step because it lays the foundation, gives us all the information that we need. So we look at the essentials that they need.
Okay.
And to be honest, we round up a little bit. Okay, to get that little cushion, okay?
That's good.
And so we should plan for, the worst case scenario so that we do that. So we look at the essentials that they need. We look at, do they need just simple stuff like, do you need a new roof coming up? What other big purchases are you anticipating in the near future? And a roof. Do you want to put a patio on the back? Do you need a new car? Maybe they have the car that they're a company car, so they might need a new car. So those are all things that we need to plan for, and that will come out a lot of times out of that essentials.
Okay.
So that paycheck, and so that's how we determine how much they might need for those paychecks.
Okay, so really it comes down to asking the proper questions, Kevin. Absolutely.
Each individual is different. Each situation is different, and so we, put a customized, unique individual plan together for that client.
Thank you so much.
Welcome.
Al, I want to ask you a question. What about if someone doesn't have a pension or they feel that Social Security is not going to be enough to cover their needs? What can you supplement with?
Well, like Kevin said, there are different sources of income that can be created, and you'll hear a lot of people say, you need to have 4% of your of your investments to help offset your income. And you need 3%, you need 6%. Well, do you want us to guess, or do you want us to be accurate?
Yeah, yeah.
We have a system so that we can be accurate. And so we do offer other solutions because let's face it, we're accustomed to having income just coming to our bank every week, every other week, right? And we're just not going to change that because we retire, right? So you at home, if that's something that you're concerned about, you want to have that weekly or biweekly money coming in, we can help you with that. And Kevin mentioned one of the tools that we use are specialized annuities that we can determine what a lifetime income can look like for you. We can also do it other ways where we can determine what an income would look like for you for a few years and readjust that for you from time to time to keep pace with inflation. A lot of people use dividends, but our concern is, we want to find out what your comfort zone is. Do you want a guaranteed source, or do you want to have? Are you comfortable with a source that's based on things you can't control? Okay, so yes, and then a lot of times people enjoy having another business when they retire. And a lot of times they'll become landlords. They'll buy rental properties and have someone manage it for them. A lot of times they use that to help subsidize that Social Security check. Okay. And so there are so many ways of doing it. We could sit here all day and talk about that.
Okay.
But for you at home, I think you'd be happier if you just came in and sit down and talk to us, and we'll help you figure out your problem.
Absolutely, Al. Thank you so much.
Sure.
Kevin, can you share a situation with us, a story, if you will, about having a plan that was designed around all of these guaranteed income sources for a client recently?
Sure.
Can we speak about that
we
before
just
the
had
commercial?
a client come in. We'll call her name Mary.
Okay.
And she's single, and she's got about maybe 5 years left that she wants to work. She's 62. She wants to retire when she's 67. She has a small 401k. So she has Social Security. So we did the review, did the analysis, and we figured out she was going to be about $1,200 short per month for her paycheck, okay? To meet all of her needs. And so we were able to put some of the money from her 401k, because she's over 59 and a half, you can start taking money out of your 401k after 59 and a half without penalty. So we utilized that rule. We took some money out of her 401k, moved it into a deferred annuity, which that means it will grow for a period of time. And then in 5 years, when she retires, she'll start a pension from it.
Wow.
And so that pension is going to give her $1,500 a month. So now she's got the $1,200, plus, of course, Social Security will increase a little bit as well.
Okay.
So with all of that together, she's about $300 to $500 extra. There's her paycheck.
That's exciting.
So we gave her a paycheck. We also gave her a paycheck.
Oh my gosh. Well, I know she loves you so much for that,
she was
because
giddy
that's
when
incredible.
She walked out. She's like, I'm so glad I came and saw you guys.
Oh.
And that occurs several times in your retirement. So we do that to start it. Kevin did that to start for her, but there are repeated times when we need to do that again and again. So we need to make sure that those funds are established as well.
Sure.
Al, thank you so much. And Kevin, thank you so much. To our viewers at home, there's a number for you to call on your screen. That number is 888-959-2743. And if you're in the viewing audience today and you're asking yourself, do I have a plan for my retirement? Do I have my paychecks and my playchecks all figured out? If the answer is no, don't miss the opportunity to have the customized retirement plan drawn up just for you, complimentary, no obligation whatsoever. The number to call is 888-959-2743. If you don't have a pen handy, you can grab your smartphone. It's even easier. Click on that QR code at the bottom corner of your screen. That takes you right to the landing page for First Choice Financial Services Incorporated. You can schedule your time accordingly. Well, we've talked about how to build those paychecks, that steady income stream. When we come back, we're going to have fun. Let's do a deep dive into how you can build some playchecks in retirement. Stay tuned.
The work never seems to end until the day it finally does. After nearly a lifetime on the job, you should be rewarded for all the time you spent working. Whether that's crossing off items on your bucket list, learning a new passion, or rekindling the love of an old one. After all, life isn't over when you stop working. It's the start of an all-new chapter. The one where you're the writer and you get to choose how your story will go. A way to achieve that is by having a clear financial plan to sustain your golden years. The biggest fear most retirees have is if they'll have enough money to maintain the lifestyle they've always enjoyed. Having a plan to help protect you against the curveballs life often throws will help to maintain your lifestyle. Call today to get your free written financial plan so you may live every day to the fullest and enjoy the retirement of your dreams.
Welcome back to Mid-State Money Talk. My name is Cynthia DeFazio, joined today by Al Dietrich and Kevin Dietrich of First Choice Financial Services Incorporated. And we're talking all about your retirement years and paychecks and playchecks, how important they are for you to have a successful retirement. Al, I know that we talked a lot about building the steady income streams. That was our paycheck portion. But when it comes to building the playchecks, that little bit of extra fun money, let's talk a little bit about what some of those sources may look like for someone in the retirement years.
Well, sure. And again, do you want us to guess at that, or do you want us to be accurate? Okay. So that's why we're so insistent up front to say, what do you want to do? It gives us an idea what that might look like throughout your retirement years. You know?
Absolutely.
And so then once we get to that point, then we can say, okay, now where's the money going to come from?
Yes.
Okay, so that's based upon the different accounts that we put the money in. Okay, so we can have an investment income, we can have dividends, we can have rental property we talked about.
Yes.
You know, these are all sources, but those accounts need to be started yesterday. You know,
Yes.
We don't want to wait
Yes.
on those. We want to start those as soon as possible. And so then on an annual basis or on a time whenever you call us and say, hey, we decided we wanted to go here. Okay, well, come on in and let's talk about where the best place is for us to get your paycheck.
Okay.
Okay, and so that's the long and short of it. We really want to be able to take what you have, determine what you're looking at doing, and then having an idea where we need to go from time to time to create that paycheck for you.
Okay.
There's a
All
client
right.
that just came in, called me up last week and says, I need to come and see you. And so I said, okay, what do you need to come and see me for? Well, I just bought a car. I just bought a new truck.
Okay.
And I said, well, that wasn't part of the plan. And he's like, so that's where the paychecks come into play. So it wasn't obviously the original part of the plan, but his truck was getting to a point where he needed a new one. So
Sure.
yeah, he's like, I need to come in and see where I can pull the money from. So he came in, we got him to get the money to be able to pay that truck in cash.
Aw.
And so he was thrilled. And so that's where those paychecks come in, because we set those accounts up properly to be able to fund those unexpected but lovely
Yes.
things that we might have to do. You know?
Yes.
It's always nice to buy a new truck.
Absolutely.
Sometimes you don't want to, but it's always nice to buy a new
And
truck.
I know he loved paying cash for it, so that's
obviously,
amazing.
yes. Yep.
So one very important question I want to ask you, some of the considerations, Kevin, that people should keep in mind when creating paychecks from their investments, what about tax implications that could come? Can we talk a little bit about that?
Oh, of course. I mean, that's so important, the way it's structured from the beginning, as my dad mentioned,
Yep.
making sure that, you know, there's different tax buckets. We talked about that in one of the previous episodes. So you have tax deferred, which is typically a lot of your IRAs, 401ks, taxable accounts, which is that money that's already been taxed. And when you put it into the investment, then it grows and there's some capital gains or dividends coming out. And there's of course the best is the Roth, and that's tax free. So we were able to pull some money out of the Roth for this gentleman, pull some money out of his IRA account, and so his tax burden came down because he took some of the portion from the Roth.
Wow.
Okay, so that's part of the tax planning when it comes to those paychecks, is making sure that the accounts are structured properly, that when you have to pull some money out, let's say you need to pull out 25 grand, well, we would maybe pull out like 20 or 15 grand out of the Roth and then 10 grand out of the IRA. Well, so then he's only taxed on the IRA money. Not all 25,000 was taxed, only 10,000 was taxed at his regular tax bracket.
Amazing. So all of this comes down to really strategizing when it comes to creating paychecks and playchecks. What other things should people be taking into account when it comes to paychecks and playchecks? Al?
Yeah, there are so many moving parts,
Yes.
so to speak. We want to have it. We want to make sure that we're doing the best job as far as limiting the taxes. We want to
Yes.
do the best job as far as putting you in a position where you're earning a competitive rate of return, but not high risk. We're putting you in a position where you have some of the funds that are always going to be available, regardless of the market's up, down, sideways, in or out. You want to have some funds that are available to you. So it all comes down to that one word that we use on every show. Take the time to come and see us, and we can plan the best program for you
Yes.
in that period of time. We don't charge you for it. People have a hard time with that. You don't charge us? Well, how do you make your money? Well, Kevin's great at that, He makes all the money. I don't have to make any. I'm just kidding. But folks at home, we really want you to know that, we're here to help you. And what do they say? You're the reason we put the key in the door. And we do really want you to enjoy your retirement, enjoy the time that you spend by yourself or with that significant other. And we can only help you if you pick up the phone and give us a call.
Absolutely, absolutely. And Kevin, how important is it to factor in inflation when you're talking about creating paychecks and playchecks? We have about a minute left this week.
So inflation is the silent killer, they call it, I guess, right?
Okay.
Yes.
And so inflation it depends on the account that you're putting the money into. Sometimes there's some inflation guide rails, so to speak,
Sure.
to build into that. But we try to keep up with inflation or beat it when it comes to investing, but not as, we often say there's one thing to be risky, there's another thing to be volatile.
That's true.
So you can be risky in the market, but not volatile, and there is a way to do that.
It all comes down to proper planning. Kevin, thank you so
You're
much.
welcome.
Al,
Thank you.
thank you so
You're
much.
very
To our
welcome.
viewers at home, we talked to you today about creating paychecks and playchecks in your retirement. If you're ready to take the next step, this is the perfect opportunity. Call in for the complimentary consultation, 888-959-2743. Be safe, be happy, and be blessed. We'll see you back 1 week from today on Mid-State Money Talk. Take care. We'll see you soon.